Thank you for logging in. Don't worry, it will be another quick one. I'm so excited about this month. I thought the meeting on Saturday was a phenomenal time of discussion. It's a little bit different. Remember, you get to pick your curriculum for the summer. So go ahead and send that in to me. You have 10 weeks to teach whatever you think that they need. I just want to clear it first. If you're going to write out those chapters or pieces, I need you to send that to me in advance as well. If you're doing a book, whatever it is, just make sure I have the content so it can get cleared. Very excited to see what you guys come up with, what you do, and how effective it is. I'm blessed by you, and these kids are too, so let's keep pushing. Let's keep moving. If you remember, this month we're talking about hands-on. I'm talking about the harvest. It doesn't happen on accident. It's hard work, but it's work that we've been called to. It's something that we haven't been called above. No one's above harvest. We're all here to win souls, and that's the whole point and the goal of what we have. We need to be obsessed with what God is obsessed about, and that's souls and fellowship. So let's go ahead and fellowship with the Father, but let's also increase our amount of souls we can bring in. Today, that's what I want to talk to you about. What I'm going to talk to them Thursday about. And that's what is in your heart is what you will do. And I believe we need to have souls on our heart. We need to have the harvest in the forefront of our minds. It can't be our last thought. It can't be an afterthought. It needs to be one of the first things that crosses our mind in the morning. It needs to be one of the first things we think when we see somebody is, Father, let me see them through your eyes. Let me see if they're going to live in eternity with you or separated. Father, how can I speak to them to have their life changed? We need to get serious about souls, and that's not just teenagers. That's anybody we come in contact with. How are we impacting the kingdom? The first thing you need to do if you're going to be impacted in souls is you need to be moved by something. Jesus in Mark chapter 6, 22 through 44, we see a great snapshot of what was happening. His boat landed, and he was met there by about 5,000 men with women and children as well. And the Bible says he was moved with compassion on them, for they were like sheep without a shepherd. We know a shepherd's job is to lead, feed, and protect. That means they were walking and not in the kingdom. That means they were hungry, broken, and that means they were probably sick and injured. Jesus was moved with compassion. See, we need to have compassion in our hearts for people because compassion takes empathy a step farther. Empathy is really nothing. Feeling for somebody doesn't do anything, but action is literally, it is like a cousin of compassion. If you're going to do something, you need to have the compassion of Christ, which is the heart of Christ, which is to see those who are far from him, to come close to him. If you know it. It's not if, you do know it. Our heart, our goal here is to win and disciple every single person that we can, because that's what will matter in eternity, is who we win and disciple. So the question is, what moves you? What do you have compassion for? The next thing we need to realize is John the Baptist, his cousin, was just beheaded. Literally, he just found out his cousin, the one that baptized him, the one that prepared the way for him, was beheaded by the king. He landed there, and I'm sure he was a little bit sad. It was family. And he gets there and he sees those 5,000. We would expect the response, or most of our response, even myself, most of our response would be, no, not right now. It's not a good time. I'm going through some things personally. I need to step back so I can move forward in the future. But he saw their needs and he was moved, because our compassion for souls needs to outweigh our current problems or issues. See, most people, most of the time, we love to talk about things, talk about plans and ideas, but our bias can't be to just talk. Our bias needs to be action. Our bias needs to be souls. People are going to hell, and they must be won. See, what we fall into, though, is urgency versus reluctancy, or urgency versus complacency. And oftentimes, it's easy to be complacent, because honestly, success, it fuels pride. Let's think about it. It kills urgency. Because when we're so good at things, why do we need to do them anymore? So if you really think about it, success can be one of the greatest senses or sparks to failure. Because when you're not moving forward, when you don't have urgency, you're going to fail. We have to stay urgent about souls and winning people. We have to stay urgent about discipling people and bringing them into the kingdom. And I'm not saying you don't, but I'm saying what's on your heart first and foremost. Because I know there's more people I can minister to. I know I can minister to you better. I know I can minister to these teenagers better. It's having an urgency in my spirit and in my heart to be moved with compassion, which requires me to take action. How to stay urgent when complacency is the normal? First thing you need to do is you need to own it. You be the one that sets the tone in this ministry. You be the one that sets the tone in your family, that sets the tone in your circle group and in your friend group. The first thing you need to do is own it. But the second thing you need to do is realize there's three components to urgency. The first one is outside opposition. There's spiritual outside oppositions that will try to stop you. There's other oppositions. Sometimes it's parents, sometimes it's sports. But there's always oppositions to our urgencies. And the next one is we got to recognize that there's a divine calling on what we're doing. If we don't realize a divine calling, then we're not going to have a divine unction or even purpose in it. And if there's no purpose, what's the point? The last one is there's limited time. We preach this. Jesus could come back at any moment. So if we recognize that there's opposition, that we have a divine calling to conquer that, and we have a limited time, we can't do anything but remain urgent. We can't do anything but go after souls. We can't do anything but to disciple people so they can then disciple others as well. That's what Nehemiah did, didn't he? He went and he started rebuilding this wall because he had a divine call. And then the locals started writing letters to the king. And that was opposition. But he didn't look back, and he built that sucker in just a few months because he had sustained urgency. It wasn't inconsistent. He had sustained urgency because at the end of the day, it's not about your activity. It's about your productivity. And that's winning souls. We can be active here at the church. We can do all these crazy things. But if it's not producing souls in discipleship, what are we really doing? Not much. I have 4 questions of homework for you. And I know that your heart is to win souls. So I think the questions really need to be geared towards our urgency to win souls. The first question, and this is part of your homework, is very simple, and it's right here. What are 5 forces that could impact negatively? 5 oppositions that could negatively impact your crew or this youth ministry. 5 things that you can forecast right now. I need those in my email. The second one, 2 things that you've considered doing for your group, for this ministry, but you're procrastinating over them. So 5 forces that could impact negatively, 2 things you've been procrastinating about doing. The next question is, what am I doing that is busy but not productive? Very important. The last one is, what do I need to change? I can't wait to see what you have to say Wednesday at midnight. So excited that we're urgent for souls and discipleship. We've been floating about 80 teenagers, and I'm excited as you continue to love them. We'll see that grow. Have a phenomenal week. Let me know how I can pray for you, and I'm excited to see what you have to say Wednesday by midnight. Love you. Have a great day.